What's up, ladies, gents, and everyone in between? The Tough Runs Don't Last podcast. We're a little rusty. This is the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast. I'm Grandpa on this screen. That's Michelle on the other. Say with Pop and Michelle.
What's poppin', Michelle?
We haven't had an episode in like what, 3 weeks?
It's been
4?
a minute. It's been a
It's
minute.
been a minute. Yeah. We decided to just push it back a week. We were gonna have it last week, and then I just said, well, my last race of the season is, or year probably, was Saturday. So we decided to push it back to Sunday, and then Sunday turned into Monday evening. But here we are nonetheless.
We're here.
Um, yeah, we're here. Again, I'm Graham. That's Michelle.
Yeah.
And before we get going, we'll give a quick shout out to our sponsor. The Tough Runs Don't Last podcast is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the one of a kind Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience. Track it with your fitness app of choice. Screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit your screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your reward will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section while you're there for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. And you can find us, the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X, Instagram, and TikTok at TR Don't Last. Not bad for having a month or so off.
Yeah, you did great. Good job.
I'm looking at myself in the camera, and I don't think I had my beard was not as thick on our last episode, so it's definitely been a minute.
Yeah.
So I've been busy. We have had an episode since your last race, the Spa 10K, which I was a part of.
Yes.
That was 3 weeks ago.
Mhm.
So I guess it has been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks. So yeah, y'all are you're seeing us again since the Spa 10K. And I probably have had my last race of the year Saturday. It was the Three Bridges Marathon in Little Rock, Arkansas. Um, would you like to explain the name to our listeners, Michelle?
The Three Bridges Marathon, you'll never guess, has the runners running over 3 bridges. Wow, that was 6. 3 bridges. Um,
For
there's
those who are watching on Spotify and YouTube.
there's the Two Rivers Bridge, the Big Dam Bridge, and then I believe you run over the Junction Bridge.
Whatever the bridge is that
Downtown.
takes you to the Clinton Library,
Yeah,
whatever
I'm,
that.
I'm not sure what that one is called actually. But it is in downtown.
Yes. But yeah, those are the 3 bridges. And I've done this race twice. I did it last year and this year. And it was colder this year than it was last year. It was chilly last year, but but it warmed up some, probably got in the 50s or so last year, I think anyway. Maybe not. But it was cool this year. It was pretty, I would say, cool from start to finish. At a certain point, I was wearing my ear covers, headband, whatever you want to call it. And I took it off at around mile 50, just before mile 16, because before I got to the cruiser table. What's going on over there? You're very distracting.
Ferpa is stealing stuff off of my desk. He just stole a lifesaver.
He does that. He's a big bat. I'm gonna need you to quit making those faces though. It's very distracting. But are you gonna be okay?
Yeah.
All right, maybe. We'll see. All right, so I took off my ear cover headband thing. Are you sure you're gonna be okay? Okay, Michelle is hysterically laughing. It's not that funny. She should not be laughing this hard. But anyway, I took that off because my ears started to hurt. If you have those things on for too long, they start to hurt your ears. I took it off, and I started to take my gloves off too, and I did. I took my gloves off, and then I got maybe 20 feet, and I said, "No, I'm going to put these back on." So I put the gloves back on, which is a process because I had on too much clothing, but it's one of those things that I'm in the minority on this. I know I would rather be too hot than too cold at a race. So I was like, I can deal. I can always shed clothing if I just really need to. I can't put clothing on. Well, I guess I could, but kind of hard to do during a race if you don't have anybody there really. I mean, I had the cruisers there, but I only really knew Courtney and that I could see, and a couple others, because it's 250 something members. So I mean, I don't know them all. But anyway, it was I didn't get too hot. I got a little warm at a certain point, but especially on the last 5 miles I walked basically, I was glad I had that extra layer on because I wasn't moving as quickly as I was earlier in the race. I went for it would have been my first sub 4 marathon. I tried that last year at this race too. And this is not a good race to try to PR in. It's just not. I'm not saying it's not possible, but the Big Dam Bridge, I mean that's a little bit of a climb,
Yeah.
and you're doing it twice. You know, you're doing it 2 times. So you got to go over the bridge once, and then you got to come back over it. And that's a climb. That's a bit of a climb. And at that point on the way back, I had to walk up. Um, but I tried to sub 4 it last year. I didn't do it. My stomach started to hurt at mile 12, and I was like, I can't run like this the rest of for 14 more miles. Like, can't do it. So went to the bathroom, took care of business, and it took a while to take care of business. And at that point, realized I wasn't going to sub 4, so I just kind of took my time. I was like, well, let's just make sure we come in under 4:30. Mission accomplished. I finished in 4:22 something. This year, I didn't have that issue. I was able to get my bathroom business done before the race. And I really didn't have any excuses. I had new shoes. I've only run like 3 or 4 times in these new shoes and no shorter than 5 miles. But they were new shoes, so I wasn't real familiar with them. As far as how they would do on a long distance run like that, what I mean. Um, and at mile 13, I was tired. I was at like an hour and 56 minutes and change. This is at the halfway point at 13.1. And I already had it in my mind. I was like, I don't know that I don't think I can do that again. And then my foot started to hurt. At mile 14, my foot started to hurt. And it turned out my shoe was too tight. I did stop and tie it because it felt a little loose, and I tied it too tight. And I had to stop it again after another mile because it was just too tight and it was hurting. I was like, I can't. I could feel something rubbing the inside of my arch on my left foot every step I took, every single step I took, and I was like, I can't do another 13.1 miles like this. 12 some whatever it was, I couldn't do that. I could feel it every step. So I stopped and I retied my shoe. I took my time. At that point, I'd pretty much accepted I'm not going to sub 4. And I got to the cruiser table. I just wasn't feeling it. As in, not that I was disinterested or anything. I just didn't have the energy I thought I would. I just felt gassed. I guess that first half of the marathon took more out of me than I wanted it to. Of course, certainly. And I got water, Gatorade, got a little pep talk from my run club president, which actually went a long way. She was, she, as she put it, it's 10 miles to go. You run this in your sleep. You got this. And that really, it was a little thing that went a long way kind of thing. And I even said, I was like, there's no way I'm not finishing. It's just not going to be pretty. And that was the case. When I hit mile 21, from then on, it was essentially a run walk the rest of the way. It now, it was like anywhere between a 2 and 4 minute run to like a minute walk. So it wasn't your typical, I don't know what your typical intervals are running, but it was kind of that. I'd run for a while, then I'd have to, and I'm talking a pretty slow, steady jog, maybe probably like a 9:30 pace, like when I was running. So not very fast at all, at least for me. It was pretty slow for me. But and at that point, I didn't really. I looked at my watch thinking, well, can I beat last year's time? And at a certain point, especially at the end, I didn't care. Like I just stopped caring. I was like, I'm going to come in under 4:30. That's good enough for me. And yeah, so I got it done. I was very happy to see the finish line. When I finished, I went straight. I got medal. I went straight into the tent, and I I, I did not feel great. I didn't want pizza. I wanted to sit down. Well, they gave me like a thermal blanket thing, and that was nice. I got in. I sat down. I had to sit down for a while. I just sat there for a while. And I got up and I was like, I really need something to drink. And the Gatorade just looked great. That's the other thing. I was dehydrated. I didn't drink a lot of water beforehand because I didn't want to have to pee. I didn't want to have to keep, because I knew I was like, I'm trying to sub 4, so I don't need to take a lot of bathroom breaks. I was thinking maybe take like one during the race. And I think that now that I'm talking, I think that had a lot to do with it too. I think I was dehydrated because at every water station from really 16 on, they'd say water or Gatorade, and I'd say both. I needed both, and I would chug both down and needed it. And that Gatorade after the race did wonders too. Once my stomach started to settle, and I wasn't feeling good. People, I'm friends with are trying to talk to me, and I was trying to be as friendly as possible, but I was thinking, I just want to get out of here. I want to go be alone in my car, in the comfortable seat in my car, in the warmth, and thinking I can just drive home once I start to feel better. Um, which I started to do. I got to where I was ready to go home, and I was like, "Oh, I actually won an award because they do 5 deep in age groups of that." So I just drove to. There was there were plenty of parking spots near the start at that point, so I just drove to the start or close to it because I didn't want to get in the way of the shuttle that was going in and out. And I went up. I said, "Hey, I think I got fifth," and they said, "Yep, you sure did. And here's your trophy." And then I saw someone else that I knew that came up and talked to me. So I was outside talking to them, which was nice and friendly of them, but kind of sucked too because I was drenched and I was freezing, and I wanted to say, can we move this inside of the heated tent? That is one good thing. They have the tent with the heaters and all that. And once we got finished talking, I was started to go back to my car, and I was like, well, I mean, at that point, I started to feel okay. I was like, well, they have, I think it's Hungry Howie's is the name, the pizza place. A lot of pizza. And so I went in, I had 3 slices of cheese pizza, and then I essentially got out of there, went home, and first thing I did was get in the shower because I was cold and wet. And then I sat down, and then you called me shortly thereafter, or I called you, one of the two. And then you said you got a camper and you wanted me to meet you in Benton in like an hour. Or that was what I
No,
heard.
that's not what I said, though.
That's what I heard.
But it wasn't what I said.
Anyway, it wasn't what I wanted to hear. I wanted to sit in my recliner for a while. Like that was my plan. I was like, oh, I can sit in my recliner, just cuddle my cat for a few hours. But no, that's not what happened. But that's okay. I'm not salty about it or anything.
No, not at
Uh,
all.
no. But it was a good, I don't know, it was a good race. Uh, they do a great job there. Everybody does. It's well done. Uh, I don't like running in the cold, but I'll do it if I need to. And I committed to do this race, and I wasn't going to not do it. But Yeah, that was the toughest race that was the toughest marathon I've run. Gosh, and I was thinking this during that might have been the toughest marathon I've run since my first, which
Wow.
is kind of weird to say because that was like that was number 15, I think. I think that was my 15th marathon. Um, thoughts, Michelle? Questions? Anything?
No, I don't have any questions. Um, it was weird to me when you said that you ended up doing intervals because that's not something that I typically hear from you. Um, and so that's when you told me that, I was like, oh, he was having a rough time because that's very unusual for you.
It is, and I mean, I was going at a pretty decent pace early, probably even too fast
Yeah.
because I was a few minutes ahead, and I kept saying I needed to slow down. Um, my favorite part of there were two favorite parts of this race. It was the race started at 7 a.m. and of course you run over the Arkansas River at a certain point early in the race when you go over the Big Dam Bridge. Again, it's 7 a.m. It's cold. It's dreary AF, and it was just nothing but fog. We were just surrounded by fog, and all you could see when you were running through it was just fog on each side, and you couldn't see anything else. It was like running in the clouds. You could see it over that bridge, and when you went over that bridge, Junction Bridge, I think he called it, going to the Clinton Library. But it was the coolest and thickest. By coolest, I mean just neat to see. At that point in the race, early going over the Big Dam Bridge early in the morning. That was my favorite part of the race because I was just like, wow, this is amazing. I wish I had a camera here or that somebody had a camera here to take pictures because this is just cool. Um, there was that. And the other part was a first time marathoner, a younger guy, looked to be in his 20s, mid 20s maybe. And it was his first marathon. And we were we were running by each other kind of, but it was mainly just either I was in front of him or he was in front of me, one of those two. We just kept trading back and forth and it seemed kind of silly. And so I kind of as I started to pull ahead the next time because I couldn't really tell if it was him speeding up and slowing down or me in natural. I don't know. When you're running along somebody, it's not even, especially that early in the race, it's not necessarily natural competition. It's almost an awkwardness of I don't want to be right next to this person this whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to either be like slightly ahead or slightly behind.
Yes, especially in a marathon. But I just looked over it because we kept doing that, and then I just finally said, I said, "Hey, what's your goal?" Because I'm thinking we probably have the same goal. He goes, "I want to come in under 4 hours." I was like, "Yeah, me too." Um, I said, "I've never done it before. I've done, or I think I said, how many marathons have you done?" He said, "This is my first." I said, "Oh, cool. Well, I've never come in under 4 before, and this is like my 15th." And he thought that was really impressive. That was a number he just couldn't fathom for a number of marathons. Again, young guy, but um, I mean, had you told me I would have done 15 when I was that age. I'd say you're crazy. But we kind of traded off, a couple more times, but we were alongside each other a little bit when I kind of broke the ice. And he was really encouraging. He was like, "Yeah, man, we're killing it. We're ahead of schedule. We're like 3 minutes ahead right now. We got this." And then, and this is at like mile 8. Okay. As soon as we hit mile 9, we hit the mile 9 marker. He runs a little bit in front of me and then just immediately turns and just starts throwing his guts up. And by guts, I mean just nothing but red Gatorade. I mean, just straight red Gatorade, nothing else. And I mean, it was loud and very throw uppy, and it made me chuckle as I ran by. So I was
Mm-mm,
like, "Yep, first time marathoner."
mm-mm.
Because that's the only time I've thrown up during running was, and I was at least done. It was after my first marathon, the Hog Eye in 2011. And I at least finished. But yeah, mile 9, he threw up a bunch, but I did see him on the turnaround. When you go over that bridge and turn around, I was like, okay, he's puke and rally. He's still going. Neither one of us came in under 4 hours, by the way, but we did. I assume he finished. I didn't see him finish, but I believe he did. He seemed very determined. And when it's a marathon, you can have a goal time and everything, but at a certain point, and this was the trend Saturday with a lot of people, they said it just became we just wanted to finish, just finish, and that's where I was. I was like, just try to come in under 4:30. Just make sure you finish. That's all I wanted to do, and I did it. But I didn't really have. I My body was kind of messed up. I think from probably being dehydrated.
Mhm.
I don't know, but also one of my right toenails is probably going to go at some point. It's very loose at the moment. Like I feel like I need to clip part of it, but I think I'm just going to let it be for a while and see what happens. But there's a good chance I lose it. Um, One guy at the race, um, he was wearing sand or flip flops at this point because he came up to me, and this is when I still wasn't feeling all that great, but I was kind of starting to get over it a little bit. He came up and just started talking to me, just some guy I didn't know, very friendly guy, and he was complimenting me. He said, "Yeah, man, you were chugging along," and I was like, "Thanks, I was trying." And we were just shooting the breeze, and then I looked down at his flip flops, and he had just nothing but beat up toenails.
Mm.
Right? I mean, just like looked like they were barely hanging on. I just looked down and said, "Looks like you've done a few of these." And he looked down. He's like, "Oh, my toe." I was like, "Yeah, exactly." He thought that was funny.
I feel like
Um,
runners and dancers really like have a thing about feet. Not in like a weird way, just you can see, other people are runners or dancers based on looking at their feet.
is it dancers or ballet dancers?
Ballet dancers.
Okay, I was like, I don't know about it for dancers, but ballet dancers for sure. I hear all about that and have seen some of it too.
Yeah.
But yes, I need to try. I have some creeper socks I bought on Amazon. So I want to try those. Those are the toe socks,
Hmm.
and I'm hoping that helps. But I also don't plan on running many more marathons in the future.
Yeah.
I have 3 I'm committed to in the spring. After that, I don't know. I'm just gonna wait and see. I don't. I enjoy the challenge of the marathon. It's a very you get a very accomplished feeling after because it's a grind. It is a distance that will humble you if you're not ready. And um, but I don't. So I enjoy the feeling of accomplishment you get, and even the challenge of it. But but I don't enjoy it just in general. It's not a race. I enjoy the challenge, but I don't. But it is that it's a challenge, and I don't particularly. It's not something I want to do often. That makes sense.
It
And
does.
I'm starting to get to where I don't know how many more of them I want to do. I could do the half marathon all day. I I genuinely love that distance. It's my favorite distance because it's enough of a challenge. It's not too far, but it's not too short either. And it typically just takes me a couple hours or a little less than that, and then I'm done and I get on with my day. The marathon, it I was pretty beat up. I had an idea of things you and I might do Saturday night,
Hmm.
and I think I told you I was like, I don't want to do any of those things. I want to do the the most easygoing of the options that we had.
Yes,
That was what I wanted to do, and we didn't even do that.
we did.
We played with your camper, getting it in your backyard.
Yeah.
But all in all, it was a good weekend. It was a good race. I starting to feel normal again. Again, it took a lot out of me, and I don't know. I don't know if it was just being dehydrated, probably, or it might be that plus a combination of 2 years of me working my ass off.
Yeah, and it was like your body being like, I know that the end is in sight, sort of thing, and just being like, we're done, and letting you
I think my
know
I
that
think
you
my
were done.
body just had enough.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was that. I think it just had enough. It was like we need a break.
yeah,
We need a break, Graham. Because
absolutely.
I am the type, I feel like I could do just about anything. Like I'm always going, I'm always doing something a million miles a minute on little sleep. I got a whole 4 hours last night. I usually only sleep in like once every 2 weeks. That's gonna have to change. I know that.
Yeah,
But I am gonna start that. I'm not doing any running this week. I'm just completely resting, and I'm gonna try to get some rest this week. Try to. That's the goal.
yeah,
There are other things I got to do in life, though. So that's going to take the time I would normally be running. I'm going to be just doing the things I've put off doing.
yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But um, yeah, the marathon is a unique challenge, and anyone that has done it once or 100 times or more, it's very impressive.
Yes.
And I Uh, kudos to anyone that has done that and is trying to do that, is striving to do that. Um, it's a unique challenge, but it's not one I want to do much of anymore, I don't think. I
Yeah.
say that literally, like there are certain races that you get up for, like a major. Now, if a major came knocking, I got accepted to a world marathon major. That's different. I think I could be like, okay, I'm back. I'll get myself up for that one. Or Little Rock, just because of the experience and the medal, etc. Little Rock is different. Um, at the same time, I really enjoy the half too. So I don't know. But either way, the marathon isn't something I do often and or want to do often. It's just not something I particularly enjoy. I just mostly enjoy the feeling of accomplishment after, I think.
I don't know. I've never done one, and I never will.
And that's okay.
It is.
But I'm glad I did it, and I'm also glad it's over. I was genuinely kind of dreading it the 2 days leading up to it because I had my last training run Wednesday and Thursday, and especially Friday. Also, it was really cold all week, and I was thinking, gosh, I got to get out in this and run 26.2 miles. And did I freeze up or did you freeze up?
We're good.
Okay, I guess you froze up. I don't know. Uh, but I was really dreading it, and I don't know. I got plenty of sleep the night before. I was in bed at 9:30. I got up at 4:30. So I mean, I was rested, and it was cold, but it wasn't unbearable. I was layered up. I don't know. It's been a long 2 years. Um, in the Grand Prix, this is the last of the Grand Prix schedule for 2026, Three Bridges Marathon. And it did help secure the Cabot Cruiser men's second place in the overall standing. So shout out to the cruisers there. Proud of that I was able to help lock that up. But that's that's going to be my last Grand Prix race for a while, maybe ever. I don't know. At least as a Grand Prix participant, I'll put it that way. it's time to go do other things, focus on other things. And I mean, I'm still going to run. We're still going to do this podcast. It's just going to be with different topics here and there. Like I'll continue to run half marathons and pace. I have 3 marathon pacing gigs in the spring. But the Grand Prix for me, I'm closing the chapter on that part of my running journey. But I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how it went. I got better over the last 2 years. With the exception of this race, I think I had the exact same time as far as hour and minutes. I think it was 4:22 something last year and 4:22 something this year. I haven't checked to see which was faster. Would you like to check that real quick?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. You keep talking.
Okay. But in everything else, I had nothing but PRs all year. PR'd the 5K, PR'd the half marathon, uh, PR'd the 10K. All of that was this year. So I mean, I just steadily got better. So I mean, it was neat to run in a competitive setting, and because competition does make you better. And I had other guys like pushing me, just forcing me to bring my A game, and you don't so much enjoy it in the moment, but after you can certainly appreciate it. So I'm appreciative to those guys and gals that did that as well. Helped make me better. You're chuckling at something.
I did, yes. Would you like to just take a guess at were you faster last year or this year?
I think I was slower this year.
Would you like to guess how much slower you were?
5 seconds.
7 seconds.
I was 7 seconds slower this year.
Yes.
Okay.
4:22:31 compared to 4:22:24.
Okay. That's pretty close though.
Yeah. Yeah. 7 seconds.
All right. Well, not much drop off then, at least.
No, you actually like did better in your age group this year compared to last year. Um,
Well, yeah, I got a trophy this year. I didn't get one last year.
yeah. So, you did do better. So good
Which
job.
I've got it sitting over here, but it's in the box, and I'd have to take it out and reach over to get it. It's a nice little trophy. Check out my Facebook or Twitter if you want to
Yeah.
look into it, I guess. But I don't know. It was a good time. I enjoy. In fact, I'll upload it to my Twitter with the pics, and then I'll retweet it on the Tough Runs Don't Last Twitter page. How about that?
There you go. So they
For
can
those of you that care. Anyway, I said that's probably my last race of the year because there is a half marathon this Saturday in Little Rock, and I was going to do it, but I keep seeing what the temperature, because it's been cold for 2 weeks
We've
here.
had the coldest December like on record, I think. We didn't get above 40 degrees until I think Saturday.
I don't know if that's right, but it's been cold. It's been very cold. Um, and it's going to be really cold Saturday, according to Todd Jacoby and Joel Young, other meteorologists.
Mhm.
What's is it? Is it that it's going to feel like 13 degrees?
Yeah, like so it's gonna feel like between 13 and 15 degrees. They're a little off. That's why I think like it's wild. It's gonna be cold. Cold.
In mid December?
Yeah, we don't normally get this cold until February.
No, that's not true.
Sometimes January.
No, that's no sometimes. January is cold. I've run in January races. It's brutal here. But mid December, this is really cold. Now I like it. as far as just being a non-runner, I like it.
Oh yeah.
But I don't like running in it. Like I like sitting in my cozy uh duplex or at your place. I like it then, but like getting out and running in it, no, not a fan.
No.
Huge pass on that.
No.
Because I don't like a warm Christmas because we've had multiple 70-degree
Yeah.
Christmases just in the last decade.
Yeah. It's not Christmas. It doesn't feel like Christmas.
Yeah. Um, so I don't like that, but I'm not gonna go run a half marathon in 13 degrees or what feels like 13 degrees. I'm just not gonna do it. So I'm probably gonna sit that one out. And I don't have another scheduled race until January 24th. That would be the Papa Loco Marathon in Conway. And now it's late January.
Hmm.
Usually, like the coldest race I've ever run was the time travel half marathon that I paced, and it was like the week prior to that. So it was like January 17th, almost 2 years ago. It like they kept having to break the ice over the water cups because it was freezing as they poured it.
Yeah.
That's the coldest temps I've ever run in. And I wore 5 layers up top, 5, and didn't get hot at all. Like didn't even get remotely hot. In fact, didn't thaw out until 2 miles in. I couldn't feel my hand that I was holding the sign with until the mile after I hit mile 2. And I had my gloves and everything. But so I don't want to do that again. I
No.
think after this year, I'm just not doing January races for sure anymore. Probably February either. In fact, probably won't run races until like January and February in the future. I'm just completely taking off. After next year, I'm done with January and February races. Just not doing them anymore.
Okay. Okay.
Um, yeah, I just don't. I don't want to do it. I don't like running in the cold. And apparently a mid-December race this year because it's going to be too cold.
Right.
But uh, all in all, I like the weather. I just don't like running in it.
Makes sense. Yeah.
All right. Well, I've spent basically the whole episode just recapping the Three Bridges Marathon and what I have going on in the future. What about you, Michelle?
I am on a break.
Okay. You look very you look very picturesque with your sweater and your wreath in the background and your cats and your brand new TV.
Wow, she's so
Yeah,
fancy.
she's pretty. She's huge upgrade from what you had. But if you quickly, if you is there a race that you would be open to doing in the future? Like what would it be?
Hmm. I would do
Quick,
the litter rock like 5K, 10K.
not a half marathon.
No, I'm done.
Okay, we'll see about that. But anyway, let's see if we can get Michelle on that. But until then, we'll catch y'all next time, probably in 2 weeks. We'll find something to talk about. But until then, we're going to get out of here. I'm Grandpa. That's Michelle. See y'all next time.
See ya.